Brittany. So, today I'm gonna do a Dreamtime video, and today I'll be sharing with you um, this interesting yet funny dream that I've had on Back to the Future. And this was years ago though, but I still remember it. I think from what I can remember, I was in the movie. Not the first one, but part two. And so what happened was, because I went with Doc and Marty when they went to the future in 2015. So that's what I did. I went with them, but then after everything was fine, after what happened, especially Jennifer seeing her future self and she saw her past self, and they both fainted from the sight of each other. So after that happened, she was so passed out and everything, and so I remember when I went to the DeLorean, because when they just carried her out, and when they got to the DeLorean, Doc wanted me to go back. And I know this might sound funny, but you know how there's no room in the back, because in the back there's the flux capacitor? Well, there was room. I think there's room for at least two people in the back with the flux capacitor behind me. So I went into the back seat, even though there isn't no back seat, but there was one in the dream at least. And so with Marty being on the passenger side holding Jennifer, and Doc in the driver's seat, and I'm in the back seat behind Marty, and then Doc turns around, he looks at me and he's like, Brittany, do you think you can go back to Marty's house, future house, and see if everything's okay after Jennifer saw herself and fainted? I was like, sure, yeah, I can check and see everything's okay. But before, just as I was getting up and before I could even get out, he was like, oh, well, wait. So I quickly sat down because of his reaction and how he said it when he said wait. And so I quickly sat down like, what? And he said, I just want to say, when you go back in the house, make sure no one sees you. No one. Not future Marty, not future Jennifer, not even Marty's kids. Don't let anyone see you. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, don't worry, I'll try to stay hidden. So, and I was like, okay, go. Make sure everything's okay. And I think the reason why he wanted me to go check to see if everything's okay, so that way there was nothing, because after Jennifer saw herself, I think he wanted to make sure that everything was okay in the house, and that there was no somehow disturbance where it would cause what's the word, it wouldn't cause this it wouldn't cause a problem, and where things would start to get worse after that she had just saw herself. So I think he just wanted me to check so that way it wouldn't cause this big issue, and it would I think what I'm trying to say is that I think he didn't want to happen to see if there was some kind of effect where it would affect the future, and it's okay, now we have to go, or not go, but maybe we have to somehow make sure that it didn't happen, So I think he wanted to make sure there would be no problems with Marty's family, or with his, with Jennifer, but just to check everything is good and it wouldn't cause this effect, kind of like an earthquake. Well, I'm really sorry. I don't know how to explain it other than that he wanted me to check everything was fine and that there would be no problems. Because you know how when something happens, it's like it could cause an effect where something else would happen and then something else would happen and it just would get worse. So, well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to say. And so, that's what I decided to do. I'm like, okay, if he wants me to check that everything's fine within, with Marty's family and everything, then okay, I will check because I don't want there to cause a problem from now till, let's say, it causes a bigger problem in the future, like let's say within 10, 20 years or so. So that's what I did. I got out of the DeLorean, and as I got out, I was walking very quietly outside up till Marty's house, well, his future house in that year. And so from what I can see, the door was open just a little bit. And so as the door was open, I quietly walked into the house. And the funny thing is, because you know how when someone walks into the house, like if it's Marty or Jennifer, you hear that automated voice saying, "Welcome home, Jennifer," or Marty. Well, it didn't do that with me, and I think it's because maybe it didn't recognize me. Because, for one, it wasn't my house, and two, maybe it didn't recognize me because maybe there's just some other reason why it just didn't recognize me. But I think it's mostly because it wasn't my house. It was Marty's, Jennifer's, and their it was a family house, between he and his family. So I think that's mostly why. So as I walked in, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear the automated voice saying, "Welcome home, Brittany," because if it had picked up on that, if it had picked up that I walked in and it said that, I would have been like, "Oh no," like someone knows that I'm here. But no, I think that's why I didn't pick up on the fact that I was there, because it's not my house, as I said. So as I walked in there, it was just quiet, but I did hear talking, and I think I heard Marty talking to Jennifer in the kitchen about what happened. So it was like towards the kitchen. So as I'm listening in the kitchen, I can hear how she's telling him what he saw. And so as I'm listening in, I'm like, okay, I really, I'm thinking like, I hope she doesn't think like, oh, something's terrible happened here, like, you know what I mean? So as I listened, I'm like, okay, so it seems like, everything's fine. She's freaked out, but it seems like, everything's okay. And so I remember hearing footsteps walking out of the kitchen. And so I'm like, oh no, where am I gonna hide? So just as I'm hearing the footsteps getting a bit closer, I went to the other side where there's a wall. So I was hiding behind a wall, and over here's the hall where you have the kitchen, the bathroom. So I was hiding mostly behind the wall, so no one saw me. And so yeah, I remember looking all around downstairs, everything looked fine. I looked upstairs, everything was fine. So I'm like, okay, I heard what I needed to hear. I checked the house and everything seems good, everything seems fine. So as I walked out of the house quietly, but then I ran from the street to the DeLorean. And as I went there, so as I went to the DeLorean, I told Doc what happened. I told him how that she's freaked out. But other than that, everything seemed okay, and that I did heard footsteps. Um, and that someone was walking out of the room, and then all of a sudden his eyes got wide, like, what, did somebody saw you? And I'm like, so I kind of laughed a little bit when his eyes got wide. I'm like, okay, no. And then I said, don't worry, no one saw me. I hid behind a wall, and no one saw me. Someone came out of the kitchen, probably went to the bathroom, and that was it. But I checked downstairs, and everything looked fine. And yeah, I just ran out of the house. And so when I told him that I walked out of the house, and I just pretty much ran from the street to the DeLorean, yeah, he seemed relieved, like, oh, good, like, okay, nobody saw her in the house. So yeah, that was kind of funny. So yeah, that was it, and that's how it ended. I wouldn't think how they would need someone to go back into the house to make sure everything's okay. But I mean, hey, I did that for them, and the thing is, I am like that though. If I, well, let's just say, I mean, I'm sorry, my words are not coming out, but I am sneaky like that. Whether if it's to check up on something, or maybe if I'm in the kitchen to look for a snack or something. Yeah, I can be sneaky where it's like I'm just walking quietly, checking something, or maybe trying to get a snack or a drink, and then even if no one knows I'm there, then I quietly just walk back to my room. But yeah, I'm like that. I'm sneaky like that, but in a good way. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this dream time video, and so yeah, as I mentioned, I'll be doing my last 3 videos next week, and I'll be doing my first 3 videos in my new room. But when I do, I'll let you know for sure, definitely. So I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, and to see more movie content and dreams on movies, reactions, movie reviews, movie discussions, subscribe, click on the bell, and you'll be notified when I upload. And yeah, leave a comment down below if you had any dreams on Back to the Future, or which Back to the Future movie is your favorite, and what do you thought about this dream. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. That's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.